Hi everyone, welcome to my first episode by episode review. And as I stated in the last video, this is going to be of Series 1, Episode 1, Rose. So, this aired in 2005, and it was the first feature, Christopher Eccleston as the Ninth Doctor, and Billie Piper as Rose Tyler. It also featured the return of the Nesting Consciousness and the Autons, but the Autons weren't actually mentioned in dialogue. They were there, but they weren't mentioned. So the episode starts with Rose Tyler living her normal life, going to work, meeting her boyfriend, and just like living her normal life, doing what every normal person does. But then she has to deliver some lottery money down to the chief electrician, who's called Wilson. And there, when she doesn't find him, she's like forced into a corner by the Autons, who she thinks are students for some reason. And then, so yeah, a stranger comes out of the dark and it's the Doctor. And the first word he says is run, which, as hinted in The Doctor's Daughter, they do a lot. He takes her to the exit, but then goes back in with a bomb, telling her to, like, basically get out and save yourself. And as she crosses the road, the shop blows up, and she goes home, where her mum just babbles on about money and compensation and stuff. And so she's at home and her boyfriend Mickey comes in, and he wants to go to the pub. She gives him an arm that the Doctor pulled off one of the Autons to chuck in the rubbish, which he does. But then, obviously, that's not the end of it. The next day, the Doctor comes to her flat after picking up a trace. And he talks to her about all the stuff they've been through. She wants to go to the police. He's admiring his new regeneration, so it must be quite soon after his regeneration from his 8th to his 9th incarnation. They go for a walk. He basically explains who he is, and then he disappears again. So she goes to her boyfriend's, Mickey, and she looks on the computer and finds a conspiracy theory website that claims a man fitting the Doctor's description has appeared throughout history. So the website's run by a man called Clive. Rose and Mickey go to visit Clive, the man who runs the website, and he explains completely that the Doctor is dangerous, that she should stay away from him, and that now he's made a house visit, she's probably dead already. But meanwhile, outside, Mickey is kidnapped by a wheelie bin and replaced with a plastic replicant. When the fake Mickey attempts to question Rose about the Doctor shows up and beheads the replicant. The Doctor takes Rose to his TARDIS, which is, as we all know, a police box, and attempts to use the fake Mickey's head to locate the controlling signal. The head suddenly melts, but Rose realizes that the transmitter must be the London Eye. The Doctor then explains to Rose that he is an alien and the fake Mickey was an Auton controlled by a signal from the London Eye. He shows Rose that he has a bottle of anti-plastic kill an alien called the Nesting Consciousness if necessary. When Rose and the Doctor descend below the city, they find that the Nesting Consciousness has taken up residence beneath the London Eye. The Doctor tries to negotiate with it, but he gets angry when he identifies himself as a Time Lord, blaming him for the destruction of its home planet during the Time War. The Nesting Consciousness activates all the Autons at the Queen's Arcade, where several shoppers are shot, including Clive. The Doctor is also held down by a pair of Autons, but Rose rescues him, and the anti-plastic drops into the vat where the Nesting Consciousness is living, and it kills it. After fleeing the underground complex with Mickey, who was held hostage by the Nesting Consciousness, the Doctor offers Rose more adventures with him. Rose initially refuses, as she is concerned about her mother and Mickey, but she ends up joining the Doctor when he explains that the TARDIS can travel in time as well as space. And that's when she runs into the TARDIS and joins the Doctor on his travels. I thought this was a very good episode. What went well is that it you didn't have to watch the classic series to get what Doctor Who was about. It didn't reboot it. It just reintroduced it, if that makes any sense at all. So you could be a completely new fan. You didn't have to even hear of Doctor Who, and you could just get straight into it. You didn't have to know the history. You didn't have to know about the Doctor, because if it had been a reboot, people would have hated it. But because it was a reintroduction, people sort of grew to it more. And my even better if is if the aliens had featured more, if there was more of a threat. And because all there was that bit at the beginning with Rose in the shop being backed into corner, the shopping mall when they all come alive, and the bit in the restaurant with Mickey, and the bit at the end with the Nesting Consciousness. That's 4 bits out of a 45-minute episode. Whereas in the following episode, which I know isn't quite as good as this one, you do get more of a threat, and you do feel more dangerous. So all in all, I give this episode a 9 out of 10. So join me next time when I'll be speaking about Series 1, Episode 2, The End of the World.